Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is. May the ancestors hear our prayers. Ancestors, 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 we call out to you during this final quarter of 2022 and ask you to guide us to our courage, confidence, and compassion. Enable us to stop being in resistance to this new age and new earth consciousness, and guide us gently and lovingly into our personal renaissance. As we dare to live our new narratives, enable us to remember that these are divinely scripted for ourselves and for our world. And most importantly, enable us to move forth from the dark ages of modernity by placing our heads below our hearts, valuing people over profits, and always choosing love over fear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Ashe Ahoasa, Ashinga Bismillah, and so it is. Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojo Pa Maria and Saroma, the fiery essence that came out of the water to be a vessel for the divine. September is the second and final mineral month of this double fire year 2022. And this month, I am creating a quarterly theme for my podcasts, broadcasts, and accompanying videos. This theme for the final quarter of this deeply transformational year is Living Your Renaissance. Over the next 4 months, I will encourage and guide you to merge with the powerful energy of the new age of Aquarius, beginning this month with Remember what you are. So, we've made it to this final quarter of 2022. And my theme for it is Living Your Renaissance. So my overview for tonight is going to start with that. I'm going to talk about the final quarter and living your Renaissance. Then I'll talk about why remembering what you are is essential, and also talk about why it's what you are versus who you are. And then last, of course, I'll give you a personal growth opportunity that you can do. My opening quotes for tonight come from first, the wonderful pioneering astronomer, planetary scientist, cosmologist, astrophysicist, astrobiologist, author, and he also did an award-winning television program on public television back in the 70s called The Cosmos. He did it originally, and then Neil Tyson deGrasse did a updated version of it, but the person who started all that was Mr. Carl Sagan, and he said, even through your hardest days, remember we are all made of stardust. And then my second quote is from Steve Madison. He wrote a book called The Universe Has Your Back. Trust the Cosmos. And Steve said, science says we are made of stardust. What better link could there be between the universe and us? We are literally made of the cosmos. Why would we not expect the universe to affect us profoundly in all possible ways? Yes, yes, yes. So, last month, my videos were about the change. And in a nutshell, the change is whatever has happened or is happening to you personally, globally, and cosmically to bring us back into balance and alignment with the realities of the 21st century and the creation of a new earth. Yes, yes, yes. We have the ability, I talked about, to stay in or be in resistance to the change, or we can actually welcome it and open up and embrace it as the opportunity for us to have a personal renaissance. Yes. So I'm going to assume that we all want renaissance. So to achieve that, we really do have to remember what we are and let go of what we are not. Yeah. You know, again, I've been talking about this all year in some way, shape, or form, but I introduced it in January of 2020, even before the virus became a pandemic. And I talked about these three major shifts that we really, as human beings, need to take on here at the beginning of the 21st century if we're going to shift up our priorities and, again, have a planet that's habitable, loving, healthy, vibrant, generative, you know, for ourselves and for those who come after us. And so I talked about the first shift being away from consumers and into being stewards of the earth. Then I talk about the shift from being mindless workers, like, you know, being plugged into the matrix like a battery for the machine, and moving into becoming mindful contributors to really honor that we have gifts, talents, and genius that can make a difference in how we exist. And then lastly, I said that we have to let go of being compliant to things that really aren't beneficial, healthy, loving to us, and move into being creative. Yeah. Yes, so important, you know. And again, it's hard when you've been doing things the same way for 1,000 years, you know. Yeah, it's a little hard to say that maybe I'm just being compliant. Maybe I really should be thinking of something new. Yeah. So we're in a time now, and we're getting so much support from the cosmos, you know, from the greater order and direction for us to really step into it's okay to be creative, to really be opening up to something new. So my guidance for you during this final quarter of 2022, this double fire year, it's also a water tiger year in the Chinese astrology. Go back and watch my video about that. But the guidance I want to give you to step into your renaissance by the end of this year, so that when 2023 shows up, which is going to be a nature year, that you're really more prepared, more positioned, you know. And so this month I'm talking about remember what you are. In October, it'll be about be in service to the light. November, it's about make room for your higher timeline. And then in December, it'll be live your truth. Yeah. So tonight I want to focus on the remember what you are and why that's essential. In a nutshell, it's essential because the what you are, not the who you are, but the what you are is the foundation and the reason upon which your who can grow, heal, transform, and evolve. For example, who I was 20 years ago is not who I am now. I have gone through so much transformation, so much stretching and growth in terms of how I understand myself as a human being, as a woman, as a black woman, as a being of the cosmos, how much I've healed from my core wound, how I'm able to get the treasure in what happened to me years ago. I don't feel burdened by it. You know, I live different places, and so I've experienced different types of living environments and cultures. You know, so I am not who I was 20 years ago. See, that shifts, you know, and who I am today, if I am able to stay on the earth plane for another 20 years, it will be different. I will not be, and I will not look like what I do right now. And that's exciting to me because I truly believe we're here to stretch and grow. So if we're only focusing on the who I am in order to navigate our experience in this domain and this dimension of 3D with access to higher dimensions, we're going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck. And, you know, usually that's a question we're asked. Who are you? Who are you? We don't get asked enough, what are you? You know, I'm a classically trained pianist, and what happens in the training is you first have to learn Bach. Yeah, Johannes Bach. Why? Because Bach was the person in Western music who was able to experiment and create this mathematical theory about harmony and counterpoint, right? He laid out a foundation. And so everybody who comes after him to do music had studied that because it gave a formula. It gave a foundation. So, for example, if you really want to play Beethoven and understand it, if you want to play Chopin, one of the greatest, pianists for piano, you have to first study Bach. You've got to first kind of learn what the underlying foundation is, the basis is, and then things will make sense. And then your ability to interpret, Beethoven and Chopin or Liszt or even like Mario Darianelli, I love him, a modern composer, it will be so much better. It will be so deeper, right? Because you'll be working from an understanding of what all of this is based upon. Yeah. And it's a solid framework. Okay, what does that mean? That means that as you evolve into these different forms of music, you know what it's anchored to. Yeah. So I'm going to take that analogy and let's apply it to us as human beings. We actually have a foundation. We have a framework of which we are anchored to, and it's the what we are. It is the what we are. Here in this dark age of modernity, one of the things I notice that's coming out of our spirituality, where we have not integrated our spiritual side of ourselves into the who we are, we've lost the ability to honor what is sacred, to honor kind of this foundation. Yeah. We're used to doing whatever we want, whenever we want. There's no consequences because it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. It's all going to change anyway, And so there's this absence of being able to even know how to honor what is sacred and what is foundational. Yeah. And I say all that to say no judgment, no blame. Because again, we're living in a time where we haven't been supported enough in this. So no time like the present to begin that. And just a reminder that there's this wonderful show I like, a lot of people know it, called How the Universe Works. And early on in their probably third season, they did, or maybe it was a fourth season, but they did a show called The Dawn of Life. And in that episode, you got astronomers, astrophysicists, planetary scientists, and theoretical physicists all agreeing that everything that exists is made up of a handful of primal ingredients. These original chemicals like hydrogen, lithium, and helium are found in plants, animals, dirt, and rocks, rivers, and oceans, as well as humans. This means that humans are organically and chemically connected to the universe and everything in it. We all come from the same stuff. And I'm actually quoting what I just read from my book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Chapter 8, because I was connecting this ancient wisdom from Africa to this understanding. And that's what the Metadagra medicine wheel is about. So let me share with you, which I also wrote about, but I'm going to word it a little differently, about the what you are, okay? Number one, you are a manifestation of divine source. Another way to say this is that you were born full with gifts, talents, and genius. You don't have to go to school to learn them. They're already inside of you. a manifestation of divine source. Number 2, you are a divinely created being. And that translates into you are enough. It's like Mr. Rogers said, people can love you exactly the way you are. Yeah, because you're divinely created. 3, you are a soul with a divine purpose, meaning that you are in possession of a sacred contract. There are certain things you're supposed to do, certain places you're supposed to be, certain people you're supposed to meet, certain things that are supposed to happen in your life. Back to how everything is connected. Yeah. Number 4, you are a light of the world and for the world. And this translates into your soul can heal the world. Yes. Oh, yes. And then last but definitely not least, you are an eternal being with no beginning and no end. And that translates into you are not disposable. Yeah, absolutely. So I want you to just sit with that. Sit with that, what you are, a manifestation of divine source, a divinely created being, a soul with a divine purpose, a light for and of the world, and an eternal being. Just sit with that for a minute. Because when you open yourself up to want to believe that, to be willing to even learn how to believe all of that as truth, oh yeah, something shifts. Something is going to shift for you. This is what Renaissance is about. Renaissance is about remembering and waking up to the more of what matters, of what is true. And like I said, this is foundational. For example, if I believe that I am divinely created, that I am enough, I'm not going to fall for the Madison Avenue commercials and the YouTubes and TikToks that tell me there's something wrong with me. I'm not going to be running out to buy something so that I can be better because there's something wrong with me. Yeah. I'm going to say, oh, that's really interesting. Oh, that's cute. That's nice. Yeah, whatever. And I'm going to be able to relate to myself in such a way that I don't have to be afraid that, I'm going to die because there's something wrong with me. I don't have to live my life in that fear. I can live my life in love. So here's my contemplative exercise for you for this month. Or these 2 weeks. That's right, it'll be 2 weeks. And also it's for the month, yeah. Because when we aspire to be the best version of ourselves, we are truly going after living from this higher consciousness of who we truly are. That's what that means when I say I want to be the best version of myself. So here's the exercise. Using those 5 what you are that I just shared. Number 1, identify at least one way that you have experienced what you truly are. Second, identify at least one what you would like to experience. And last but not least, what, who, or where do you believe you can get support or have received support to experience what you truly are, the best version of yourself. Yeah. And let me know how that goes, please, please. So my Sara saying for this month is, to worry is to use your imagination to create what you do not want. Ashe. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. Love, love, love that. Yes. So, I hope that information has sparked some interest in you or spark some validation in you. And this is not easy stuff, folks, okay? But we're in the last quarter. Game on. It ain't supposed to be easy. We're trying to really open ourselves up to learning how to be reborn into this new age, into this new earth, from a place of love and not fear. Yeah. So play with those, what you really are, the divine being you are. And next week we'll talk about it a little bit more. Yeah. Next, I want to shout out to all my regular listeners out there, and to all of those of you who have wisdom walk with me, and you know who you are, and to my family on both coasts and in the middle of the country, to my spiritual kin everywhere, my transformational leadership colleagues, my medicine brothers and sisters around the world, and to those who may be listening or watching for the first time. Thank you. Big thank you. I truly could not do this without your willingness to watch, to listen, to learn, and to be a support to me to continue to be able to do this work. Yeah. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done that already, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. And again, thank you so much. I also will be live streaming and posting my astrology for self-mastery during this month. And if you hadn't checked out the one I did for the end of August, I highly recommend it, because it's also giving kind of the planetary alignment preparation support for the end of this year, for these last 4 months. And I think you'll find that really helpful. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky, my feet to the ground, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. So please have a very healthy and safe Nature and Earth Weeks coming up, being flexible and being generous. Continue to wear your mask and or strengthen your immune system. Practice safe relating. Wash those hands frequently. Avoid perceived safety. Embrace science safety. Don't think COVID is over. It's not. I just heard from another friend of 3 family members who are positive. One of them did have to go into the hospital. So again, you know, this is very serious. And as flu season is starting to come about in the northern parts of the country, and in other parts of the country too, but definitely up north where you're going to have to be inside more, oh yeah, do not act like we're out of the woods yet. We're not. And most importantly, please, please, please remember what you are, and that you are not disposable, because you are divine. Good night now.